Aloha Friends, I'm Hawaiian Dan with TalkFishTV.com, OneAlohaAdventures.com, and SeaEagle.com. And welcome to the very first of our Masterclass series, one of many videos to come. I hope you'll join us and I hope you'll stay with us and I hope you enjoy this series. This video is concentrating on the Sea Eagle FishSkiff16 and I'm going to show you exactly how I have it decked out for the fishing season. Here you see tandem seats, a Fishfinder display, Sea Eagle Universal Casting Bar, Sea Eagle Motor Mount Board, triple rod holder, running lights, an additional Scotty deck mount, a close-up view here of my Motor Guide Spot Lock bow mount trolling motor, the Sea Eagle Universal Casting Bar, a secondary display, again the tandem swivel seats, another triple rod holder, and of course my secondary transducer. I'm going to show you exactly why I attached them there, how to attach them, and I'm going to explain the benefits of doing so. I hope you love this video. I hope you'll join us and stay along for the entire ride, and I can't wait to hear about your comments and questions in the section below. To begin, I'm going to show you exactly how I attached my transducer to a Scotty post. So that metal board right there that you see that has the 6 bolts on it, that attaches to the transducer, but it doesn't come attached when you first receive or pull the transducer out of the box. So what I did was I drilled a hole through and I attached that Scotty post mount, which is really just a post from a Scotty cup holder, and I attached it with a bolt through that goes through the bottom of that little hollow portion of the black post, and I attach it to that silver plate. Then I took that silver plate and I attached it to the black transducer with those 6 stainless steel bolts that came with the transducer. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is that's not the best way to do it. That's the initial way that I did it, but what happens is that post just has a single, that post rather, has just a single bolt going through it, and so every now and then I've got to tighten it up because it will swing and pivot, and you want that to not pivot. You want it to be stationary and straight, and you want it to stay exactly the way that you attached it. So now I recommend attaching them with a Scotty sounder mount. If you can't find a sounder mount that fits that little section, that silver plate exactly, you might have to buy one and just trim it down, modify it a little bit, and then just attach it to that silver plate. And what you ideally are trying to end up with is a transducer with a Scotty post attached to it in one way, shape, or form that will not pivot. You don't want that to swing, and that way your sounder is going to be completely accurate. And that's what it looks like from the side. Plug and play is what we're trying to make. Now, one thing I recommend to everybody is when you're modifying anything, the best thing that you could possibly do is to set it up exactly like you're going to use it. You can theorize it, you can draw it out, sketch it out, dream it up, and you can envision it in your mind, but until you set it up practically, you won't know that it actually works. So here you see me attaching a deck mount to a Sea Eagle accessory pad, and then you're going to see that I plug in the transducer. And this is going to be exactly how I have it set up for use, and that will allow me to find the exact placement for it and really dial in exactly how the finished product is going to look. So here I'm going to attach it. Now, I found that the best place to mount a transducer is right underneath the existing rear Sea Eagle accessory pad. And the reason why is it has the flattest amount of surface area so that your transducer remains in line and parallel to the water. So in line with the hull and parallel to the water. Not only that, but the extra cord you're going to see later in the video can be wrapped around the triple rod holder that I have that's going to go right above this on the top side. This also puts any splash, right? There's not really any from the transducer, but any splash from that cable will be behind you. And because it's at the widest spot, it's not going to splash into the hull. It's going to splash outside the hull, and everything is going to stay nice and dry on the inside. So this is the preferred location, right underneath the rear Sea Eagle accessory pad. Now, after you have that set up, what you want to do is get your pencil or get a pencil, and you want to go ahead and outline that area. So line everything up, make sure that it's flush, it's straight, it's going to be parallel to the bottom of the hull, which will make it parallel to the water, and that it's also in line with the hull. And that way you have a very clear and a definite view from your fish finder. And now you see that I'm just going to trace it in, and you can go over it a few times with your pencil. I don't recommend using pen, because if you use a pen, when you go to clean the surface area up later, you'll see that that pen will smear, permanent marker will smear. A pencil will not. And a pencil will not be easily erased when you go to clean that area further with like an alcohol and acetone or an MEK. All right, so here you're going to see that I'm brushing the surface. You want to kind of scuff up the surface of everything that you have that you're going to be using. I'm scuffing up the bottom of a Sea Eagle accessory pad. And now I'm going to scuff up that area underneath the fish skiff that I had traced out for the Sea Eagle accessory pad to be attached. And this is just a wire brush that you could pick up from anywhere. Amazon, Walmart. It's nothing special. It's not hard enough to damage the hull, but just enough to scuff it up. Here I'm showing you my other transducer. It's a smaller one. It could not be attached with a Scotty post alone. So what I did was I purchased a Scotty 412 black rod holder post, and I trimmed it down. I attached my transducer to it, and it made it plug and play. Here I'm just clearing the deck so we can get everything done right. And you can see I mounted this one same as the opposite side. It's very similar, almost like a duplicate setup right underneath that Sea Eagle accessory pad in the rear. I'm making sure that it's straight and plumb, parallel and in line. And once I get it kind of dialed in exactly where I want it to be, then I'm going to take a pencil, and of course I'm going to outline the area that I want to glue or adhere that Sea Eagle accessory pad to. So you see me just marking it or outlining it right now with a pencil. Okay, so here I also want to mount my displays for my fish finder, and the place that I picked was butted right up against the canopy brackets, and I put them in line, and I want to make sure that my display is going to be upright and centered on the top of this gunnel. And here you see me just taking a pencil and outlining it once again. Again, I recommend only using pencil, no permanent markers, and no pens. It'll keep everything nice and clean, and you'll see what I mean further down the video. Nice outline there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scuff that area up again with that wire brush. It's nothing special. It's not enough to damage the hull. It's just enough to scuff it up and make an area where the glue can kind of get into these little grooves, and it'll give it more holding power. Here again, I'm lining up the opposite side because I run dual transducers. So I need a place for my other fish finder display. So I run dual transducers, dual displays. I'm outlining it right here with a pencil. A lot of people ask me why I do that, and it's because it's a redundant system. I'm an avid fisherman, and I've had a fish finder fail on me before and not had a backup, and it totally ruined the day. So I don't ever risk it anymore. My time on the water is very valuable with my busy work schedule, and I want to make sure everything is duplicated. Here, this is a used hull. Most of the hulls that I use and modify are used ones from customers. A customer had taken and relocated the paddle holder, and he didn't do such a great job at attaching it, and so I'm just kind of cleaning it up, and I'm going to attach the portion of it that came loose. No need to reattach it or remove the whole thing. I'm just pulling back the previous repair, or where he moved and reset the paddle holder, and whatever holds, so there's no reason to pull it off. I just took what was loose, cleaned it up, and I'm going to go ahead and reattach that. No need to pull the entire thing off, because in the end, your objective is to get it glued back down anyway. So just scuffing up the surfaces of the actual hull and the actual paddle holder again. This is the paddle holder that he had further back. It came completely unglued. It just wasn't a seasoned modification job, and I'm just scuffing this area up, getting the loose glue off and any kind of dirt and sand and dust out of the way. I'm going to also do that with the hull. You're going to see a buttress back here on the transom that's cut down. That was something that I was testing out. It didn't work, so don't really pay any attention to that. That was something that I'm always trying different things and trying to improve and see what I can improve on, what we can improve on here at Sea Eagle, and that didn't work out, so that's just that. Okay, I use just regular rubbing alcohol to clean it because it's easy to find, it's cheap. A better solution to use would be acetone or an MEK, methyl ethyl ketone. Those are all chemical cleaners. We're just trying to surface clean. We're not trying to do any damage. No need to scrub. Just doing kind of a light rub to get all that dust and anything that we sanded and caused to come loose off. We want a clean surface for the glue to actually adhere to. Clean and a rough surface, basically. Make sure that you clean everything. So not only the hull area that is going to be adhered to, but any kind of accessories that you are going to glue in place, you want to clean that. You want to clean everything. So we're ready to go. Oh yes, that's right. I forgot to clean the underside of the hull. I just said everything and I totally forgot that. We want to clean the underside of the hull, all the surfaces where we're going to be applying glue. Now, one of the things that I want to point out while we're cleaning the surface of this pad is if you look at the Sea Eagle accessory pad, it comes with a slight curve to it, so you can glue it on a curved surface. You can also glue it on a flat surface, and if you look over there, I know it's in the corner, but you see those silver little plates? That stops any screws from going through and puncturing the boat. The Scotty pads don't have that, and some of the other pads, accessory pads on the market, don't have that. And so if you don't use the right screws, it can puncture your hull. And it's not the end of the world, but it's a nightmare. You got to pull that pad up, put a patch underneath, and then you got to glue the pad back down and make sure you don't puncture it again with the wrong side screw. So Sea Eagle has a nice curve to it. The accessory pads has a lot more surface area than any other pad on the market, and it has those protective plates to stop you from puncturing your hull with any screws. You're going to see here that I'm putting glue on the hull. That's the outline that we traced in earlier. And I just have a regular paintbrush. Now, it is ideal to trim the top of that paintbrush to give you a clean and even surface, but I didn't do it. In the beginning, you're going to put a lot of glue on because some of it's going to be absorbed by that new paintbrush. And so you'll see I put a lot of glue on in the beginning, and then the paintbrush absorbs some, and I kind of spread it around and just add more as I go. Now, I'm trying to stay within the outlines template that we drew, but you want to make sure that you cover every bit of that area with a layer of glue. If you take a pad that has glue on it and you stick it to an area that doesn't have glue on it, it's not going to hold. So the proper way to do it is glue on glue, and we're basically trying to create, like, if you remember those stickers when we were growing up, if you take two stickers and you put them together, once you do that, it's impossible to get them apart. You're going to rip those stickers up, but they won't come apart. And that's basically the same concept here. We're putting a glue on the actual surface of the fish skiff, and then we're going to put glue on the Sea Eagle accessory pad, and then we're going to have them adhere to each other. So we're just making basically sticker upon a sticker, or glue upon glue is what's going to hold the best. So here you see me just applying the glue, following the outline template that we have. The layer of glue doesn't have to be super thick. It can be a thin layer. You just want to make sure that it's thorough and it covers all that area. When you first put it on, you might have some streaks from the brush itself rather, but the glue will kind of settle in, and those streaks will kind of go away and the glue will level itself out. Right now you can see it's wet and it's shiny, so you have plenty of time to work with it before it sets up. Don't worry about it oversetting. It's not possible. You'd have to leave it for like 24 hours to do that. And even then you might be able to get away with still using it, but less than 24 hours and you're going to be pretty good. So I've cut that in pretty nice. You don't want to over manipulate the glue. Just get it on there, because once it starts to set up, if you keep manipulating it, you're just going to remove it from the hull. You want it to set up. Get it on there, don't over manipulate it, and then let it go. Here you see the lid is the puncture point. The top side of the lid is the puncture point for the glue. This is just a 1 ounce tube of glue, and I think 1 ounce tube of glue averages out to glue on maybe 2 accessory pads. That's about average. Now you're going to see with this tube of glue, I used the first half already, but Not going to put on as much glue. You can see here because the paintbrush is already saturated. So you don't need as much. Now I put the cap back on the glue. That's because I didn't want it to drip on the boat, but you don't need to put the cap back on there. It's not going to set up that fast. Okay, you can see here again, we're going to start putting or spreading the glue around from the center outwards. So we're basically starting in the middle and just kind of working our way towards the outside edges. And we're just making, using caution to make sure that we cover everything thoroughly. You want every part of that surface area of that pad covered. And you don't want to have any areas that don't have glue because it won't stick. It won't create a good adhesion. One thing you can notice about the Sea Eagle pads is that they have a slight radius to them, so you can glue them on a curve. Also, there's not a lot of punch outs in there, so you can see it's a lot of flat surface area, so you're going to get maximum surface area for maximum adhesion. And again, you're going to see these silver plates on there, and they're protective plates so that if you happen to use the wrong screws or wrong size screws, they don't puncture through the plate into the boat, which isn't the end of the world, but it's kind of a nightmare because then you got to pull the accessory pad up and you got to patch the hull and then glue the pad back down. But you can see there's a lot of thought that goes into design, and by the time we get things out to production and release it to the public, we have it dialed in really well. That's what 55 plus years of knowledge and experience will get you. So here again, we're putting on just a little bit of glue. It's not a ton. The brush is already saturated, and I'm going to start in the middle again and just kind of work that glue from the center of the pad outward. And you're just trying to create an even layer. You're not trying to over manipulate the glue, but just enough to cover the entire surface area. Again, those brush strokes will level out. The glue is still pretty soft, and you can see that it's shiny and liquidy, so it's going to level itself out. Now for the underside, you're going to place like, just a little strip of glue on top of the brush, and then you're just going to start applying it to the underside of the hull that we have templated out earlier. And you can see I flipped the brush over there because as you're putting the glue on, it kind of pushes it to the tip of the brush, and you don't want it to like drip off. Of course, it would probably just drip off to the ground, but here you see me applying the glue, and I'm careful to get it into the actual creases of the hull right there where the seam meets the hull. I want to make sure that there's glue on every part of that surface area that I'm going to be adhering the pad to. So it's stickers on stickers, or glue on glue is what we're trying to create. And you don't want to have glue on one side and then not glue on the other area and then you put them together because it doesn't stick. So just think of like stickers when we were little kids and we'd stick two stickers together back to back, and you can't get them apart. You'd have to tear and cut that sticker all up and it'd just ruin it. And that's exactly the environment that we're creating here. So I'm just making sure that the glue gets into all the nooks and crannies, not over manipulating it, just making sure all the surface area has been covered. Okay, here you can see I'm puncturing the top of the tube of glue. I'm using the actual lid. It has a puncturing basically portion of it at the top of the lid. And now I'm just going to squeeze out some glue right onto the hull, right over the old glue that the customer had on there already. And I'm going to make sure that I spread that glue around from the center outward, trying to get it all the nooks and crannies of the old glue, especially that seam area. We want to have complete adhesion. We don't want to have any gaps. Now you can see I'm going to do the top. I'm putting that line of glue on top of the brush. Shows that you can put glue on the underside of products, again from the center outward. And I'm just brushing it and making sure that the entire surface area has been covered thoroughly. That way you have an excellent adhesion without any gaps. Okay, now we're moving to the back of the hull. This is the rear paddle holder that came completely unglued, and you can see I'm just covering the old glue with the new glue, and I'm just really making sure that the new glue gets into the nooks and cranny of the old glue and down into that seam area. And I just want to get like an even layer, and I'm just doing my best to make sure that there's going to be complete contact surface area and that it's a complete layer of glue and that nothing has been missed. No need to template this area in. Again, we're just using the previous user's glue that he had, so you can actually see the outline of the old glue, so there's no need to template this in again. Now I'm going to put glue on the actual paddle holder itself. Remember, you want glue, a layer of glue, to be on all the surfaces that are going to be adhered to. And so I'm just making sure I'm spreading the glue again from the center outward to give it a very clean look and finish, and so there's no glue that bleeds over to the outside of it on the top. I'm brushing it nice and evenly. Don't worry about those brush strokes that are seen. It'll level itself out. The glue's still wet and pliable. And this is going to be like a professional repair. Okay, this is where we have the hair dryer, and the glue is pretty much set up now. It's not tacky. You're going to think that it's gone beyond the point where it's good to use, but it hasn't. We're going to use this hair dryer to soften the glue back up and also make that accessory pad pliable, and it's going to open the pores of both the accessory pad and the FishSkiff16. And once those pores are open, when you press everything together, it kind of pushes glue deep into the pores, and as it cools off, the pores will compress and really get good adhesion on that glue. You can see that my position, the location of my hand, is on the hull, and I'm heating up the glue on the pad and the hull at the same time. But because my hand is positioned there, I can make sure that I'm not overheating anything. Absolutely do not use a heating gun for this. It will damage your Sea Eagle. And again, note the positioning of my hand. I'm kind of cupping the wind, the heat, the hot air from the hair dryer, so it gets onto the glued surfaces. I can feel with my hands that it's not becoming overly hot. I'm carefully placing this down on that templated area. Just a light press, then I'm going to heat it up again, and it's going to make everything pliable and open the pores, and then I'm going to press it together real good, making sure that the ends and the edges are down, and then just kind of work my way through the center, make sure there's good adhesion, and then you simply leave it for 24-48 hours to fully cure, and you're going to be good to go. Look at that. That looks like highly professional, and that's how yours is going to look as well. Now we're going to that paddle holder that was coming unglued, and you can see we're just gluing down the part that came unglued. No need to tear the whole thing off. There's good adhesion on there. You want to keep it and just keep moving forward. And so you see here we're heating it up. I have my thumb on there. I'm kind of feeling if the glue gets tacky. Then we're going to give it kind of a light press, and then we're going to follow it up with the hair dryer again. Note that the elements on the hair dryer is not placed directly on the hull. And you see that we're going to heat this up. It's going to soften it up, make it extremely pliable, and then I'm going to work it nice and flat. It's going to make it so pliable that that paddle holder is actually going to take the shape of the seam area. You're going to see it's going to develop a crease in it, and that just shows that you're going to get perfect adhesion. Now watch what happens here. I'm just kind of pressing it down into that seam, working it along that seam. I can feel how pliable the material is now. I can also feel it as it's cooling off and it starts to cure and set up again, and that's when you'll see me stop manipulating it and pressing on it, because you know you have great contact, and then it's cooling off, and then you just need 24-48 hours for it to fully cure. This is not going to come off. That's a professional repair. Now we're going to move to the underside. You're going to see the same thing. I'm taking the pad, accessory pad, and putting it right next to the template that we have the glue on that's on the hull, and I'm heating it up together. And that way they're kind of both being heated up and warmed. My hand is in a position where I can feel the temperature coming off the hair dryer, and I know that it's not going to do any damage to the hull because I can feel it. Every now and then, like right there, you'll feel me tap the actual glue, and that's because I want to feel it get tacky. It's going to go from where it's set up to kind of being tacky again, because the hair dryer is going to soften everything up. Again, open the pores up in both material, and it's going to set up the conditions for an excellent and perfect adhesion. Now when you go to place this, just take your time with it and make sure that you get it right on the template. You don't want to have your pad try to adhere to an area of the hull that doesn't have glue. It just won't keep. And so here you see me just carefully placing it. I'm going to give it a light push to get an initial stick, and then I'm going to heat it up with a hair dryer again to make sure that we have a good adhesion and soften everything up. And then I'm just going to press everything in, paying careful attention to the edges, and make sure that it's just everything has great contact. Work it down into the seam area, especially the pad will take the shape of the seam, and I'm just working everything down here. And then of course I can feel it cooling off, and I know when it's starting to set up again, the pores are closing up again, and we just need 24 to 48 hours for the glue to fully cure. I'm just being meticulous here. My dad always told me, I might have mentioned it earlier, if you do it right the first time, you won't have to repeat it. And this is what it looks like. And that's the placement of it. Now we're going to that that rear paddle holder that had come completely off, and we're just heating that area up along with the glue that's on the hull. And here you feel me kind of monitoring the temperature on the hull and making sure that glue gets tacky. Again, I picked a nice overcast day. You don't want to do this in direct sun. The direct sunlight is not good for performing any kind of like modification with glue or repair. The sun will just keep everything too soft, and then it can even cause it to bubble up, and it can break loose the adhesion. So this is a nice overcast day. You can look for a location where you can do it in the shade. If you don't have the shade, you can use an umbrella. And as a last result, if you have to do it in the direct sunlight, you kind of want to do it quick and then cover your repair up with a towel or a light cloth or a shirt or something just to keep the sun off of it. So it doesn't stay hot. You want it to start to cool down and to start to cure. Look at that seam again. You can see how it takes the shape, that paddle holder takes the shape of the seam. It's nice, complete contact. I'm making sure that it's good, and 24 or 48 hours to cure, and that's a perfect repair. That ain't coming out. Now we're moving to the left side. The word left, L-E-F, has 4 letters. The word port, P-O-R, has 4 letters as well. That's an easy way to remember your right and left side in mariner's terms. So left, or the port side, is the left side. Here you see me heating up the glue on both. I've got my hand on the actual hull so I can mitigate the temperature. I'm going to carefully line it up on the template because we want glue on glue and not glue on any surface that doesn't have glue. And there we go. There's a light press. We're going to follow it up with the blow dryer again to heat it up and soften everything up. Again, do not use a heating gun or a heat gun. And then you're going to see me just press everything back down. I'm going to work all the edges. I want to make sure that there's firmly adhered to and that there's no gaps or anything in between. And then it's 24, 48 hours to cure. Now this is 48 hours later, and you see me attaching the Scotty deck mount. You want to start each screw, careful not to cross thread anything. And once you get it started, that's when you want to go back and cinch everything down tight. That's the starboard side, right? Longer letter. Starboard is a longer word. The word right has more letters in it, and that's the right side. Here again, we're on the port side, or the left side, starting all the screws. Once we get them started, we're going to follow up by securing everything. And I would say I check these maybe like once a month. Before every outing, I kind of run around the boat, and any kind of screws, nuts, and bolts, I just check to make sure that they're secure and they're tight. Now we're attaching the deck mount to the underside. Again, that's one screw just to kind of get it started, get everything lined up, and then we're going to just lightly start the 3 remaining screws. And once we get them all started, then you can circle back and tighten everything down. Bonus point if you can guess what side of the boat I'm on. If you said port side, you're correct. Once you cinch those screws down, you want to kind of go back and just double check them, because as you tighten one, it's going to kind of loosen the other, because the deck mount's getting nice and snug, and that's what you want. There's a lot of vibration that goes on. Here it is, plug and play. That's our finished product. And how awesome is that? It looks great. We positioned it right over the rear accessory pad. And I did that for a reason. You're going to see that I end up taking and wrapping the excess wires around that top deck mount, and then putting triple rod holders there to keep everything nice and clean and neat. And here's exactly what I was talking about. You're going to see the excess wires and cords are going to get wrapped up, and they're going to sit right over that top of the deck mount. And then I'm going to plug a triple rod holder into play, and that way it keeps the deck completely clean. And I can count for and monitor the wires and where they are. Perfect. This is where the Portside Fishfinder is going, the display unit. This is the starboard side transducer location. We're just starting the screws. Then we're going to circle back, tighten everything down, and it's pretty much plug and play. And you can see that this transducer is much bigger. It has side scan and down scan, and this way that we are attaching it works perfectly. I've never had an issue, and I've been using them this way for quite a few years now. Push a button, it comes right out, and when you're ready to use it, it just snaps right in. So plug and play. It can be moved from one hull to another, or removed when you want to pack the boat up. Portability and versatility, that's what we're looking for, and ease of use, of course. And here's the wires. They get wrapped around and put on. Again, don't mind that cut down transom. That was me experimenting like I always do, trying to perfect things and make them even better if we can, and that just didn't work out. But here's that triple rod holder. Nice clean look. It's perfect. This is the starboard side, or the right side display unit. And these are just some accessories. This is a stringer, a stainless steel stringer, Scotty anchor lock with a 9-pound grapnel anchor. This is the Sea Eagle casting bar, universal casting bar. It fits on just about every Sea Eagle that it's made for. It's adjustable, and it can be adjusted in height and width. As you can see, I like to keep the deck open. This is navigation lights that I modified where I could just stick them on. They magnetize right onto the Scotty anchor lock. Got my registration for the season up to date. My motor guide spot lock trolling motor. And this is another overview. We are ready to go fishing. That is a wide open, clear deck. I can put a third seat in if I have another passenger. And this is what our transducer looks like. Nice, clean, out of the way, protected, purposeful. Our display unit, Sea Eagle universal casting bar, motor mount board, triple rod holder, navigation lights. Those two extra spots for the deck mount and that open spot are for my camera booms. Motor guide spot lock motor, secondary display, tandem swivel seats, and of course another triple rod holder and a secondary transducer. I hope that you really enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to hearing your comments and seeing any kind of feedback you go. This is one of very many masterclass videos to come out. I think the next one is going to be on the Fast Cat 14. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button.